Hey everybody, how are we all doing? Doug here from 2 Plus Stuff, and today we are continuing work on the Savage Orc Boar Boys that we had started the other day. And so we got the skin layer down. Basically, what I'm doing this, starting off, at least in this video, is going back with some of the original colors we painted, just to pick out the highest things, just to make some little details pop. You know, we want certain muscle parts to kind of stick out a little bit more than others, that kind of thing. Add a little bit of depth. So that's what we're going to be working on this stream. If anyone is out there and can confirm that I'm sounding okay, that would be immensely helpful. So let's see, let's grab all the ones that are painted the same, at least kind of put them semi near each other to make it easy for himself. So this one orc is painted with the actual orc flesh contrast paint, and it's my least favorite of the colors. My favorite orc skin color is this kind of olivey, and this is plague bear flesh. No, wait. This is orc skin, the one that came with, yeah, the actual base paint, and then this one over here is the plague bear with the more kind of slightly yellow. Oh yeah. Awesome, thank you guys. Good vibes. Hello, we got Cohen, Mr. Gray Brown, and Spetsy. How you all doing? Hope everyone's having themselves a fantastic afternoon. I know I am. We are just chilling, hanging out, picking out some details here and there. Load that brush up. There we go. I make the mistake sometimes of just not putting enough paint in the actual brush, so I just sit there forever picking away at color. I'm like, why is this not going through? It's like, because there's nothing in the brush, man. Did just see a TTS game that had Kragnos and Oops All Boars versus Fire Slayers win against them. Great, super close game. Boars, Fire Slayers. Okay, so the Fire Slayers took the win. Right on. That makes perfect sense. But Motzi to the Oops All Boars guy for sure. I think that could be a game style that's super fun. I mean, heck, I know with how I did on my game on Saturday with my buddy Rob, like the boars ended up, they were kind of like, I had what, 2 units of Boar Boy Maniacs and 1 10-man unit of Boar Boys, like the basic ones, and I got to say, all of them really exceeded my expectations. If I'm being totally honest, the bar was not super high though. Like, I was trying to temper myself, like, yes, you get exploding 6s to hit. But that's just not as much as you think it is. And it's like, well, I mean, but it's not nothing for sure. So it ended up being pretty significant, I would say. Cool. And all that did was just kind of sharpen them up a bit. And I am happy. Okay, let's see. Hey, Corey Bragg, what's up, buddy? Doug, can you hold an orc to the camera? Can we see a better look? Let's see if I can get something like that. Give me 1 sec here. Aha. Okay. Kind of just jerry rigging this, so please be patient. Okay, now it did kind of mess with the light because this is a manila envelope, so it kind of was adjusting to make it more of a white balance thing. But basically, yeah, it's very, very simple. It's just contrast paints all around them. And again, I just use contrast paints basically to block out the colors with a base kind of tone. Go over it with the grime stuff. I can't remember what it's called. Streaking grime. Wipe that away, and then it leaves it looking very, very dirty. And I like it because it really... It makes the contrast paint seem less washed out, I guess is probably a good way to say it. So I like it quite a bit. Yeah, this is not... You can see when I pull this away how much warmer it gets. Yeah. So that's probably a better sense of the color. But yeah, so have been thoroughly enjoying painting them up, getting a chance to actually play them. Did exactly what I hoped, which was get me excited about painting them. And so I just kind of came right back and I was like, I want to paint me some orcs. Because one thing I can say about orc armies, no matter what game they're for, well, I should say GW orc armies, right? It doesn't matter if it's a 40k or not. If you're gonna go into it, man, you gotta have motivation, because there's just tends to be a lot of bodies. Same thing with Gits. It breaks weaker men and women. Separates the seasoned hobbyists and the youthful optimism of like, yeah, I can totally paint this many models, and then life is like, nah, bro. Admittedly, we don't want to put way too much on because we don't want to lose that nice shadow, but just on the parts that are really facing upward, I'd like to really get it. Let's see. Betsy, I know the Boars did. Okay, right on. Went all the way turn 5. Nice. That's terrific. Those are the best games. When they're like down to the wire. Doug, an interesting video could be the price of dark magic. I've never seen a pretty necromancer. Oh, yes, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you know, I'd love to do that. I don't feel like it's ever been really well stated. Like, I mean, I feel like Age of Sigmar tends to be very soft with its explanations of magic. It's like, it was magic. Why? Because I said so, says every black. Nah, not really the Black Library ones. They tend to be really good. I just mean like the campaign books. I don't know. So I don't really know of any time where like a cost has been associated. Like, we definitely notice sometimes they say like I'm exhausted, but you know, getting sleepy is different than a mortal soul price for magic use. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe like every time Catacross finishes a spell, he has to like be escorted back to his room, and he's like, "Can you guys put on an episode of Dave's World before you leave? It's the only way I can relax." And he just needs to chill and zen because all it takes is a nap. That's the only price of magic in the Mortal Realms, is you gotta take a nap. Let's see. Good evening, Josh. I'm paying along, but I've just eaten dinner, so I'm gonna veg for a bit and just listen. Oh, my friend, you are more than welcome to just veg. Jess and I, it's been a good day, but a very like busy, kind of distracting one. Lots of stuff going on around us, like the neighbors making noises like that. So just haven't gotten a ton of done, and it was nice to like, we vegged on the couch for about 20 minutes before this, and it was just like, it was just nice to just hang out. There we go. Oh, thank you, Austin. Looks good. Who brought you down the Bone Splitters route? Oh, sorry, what brought me down the Bone Splitters route? Staying with pure Bone Splitters or folding in other clans? There's a girl at the Funny Little Game Store who's given me some great games. A Stormcast versus mostly Iron Jaws. Yeah, so I'll tackle those, buddy. Thank you so much for throwing those out there. For me, basically, I'm a contrarian. The second everyone agreed on the internet that the Bone Splitters were the worst of the Orc War clans, that immediately makes me like, I want to play them. I'd like to see what the other guys have to say, kind of a deal. So there is that part of me. I knew Jack wasn't really using them. I know a lot of folks were kind of like leery of horde style armies when third dropped, and so part of it was just putting myself in a position to be able to understand those problems. So like, yeah, I used to take, or be able to take multiple just wads and wads of boys and just have them clog everything, and they could still do that, but it looks a little different now, as I'm sure most folks could understand, just because of the nature of reinforcements and that kind of thing. Yeah, so anyway, they were actually, I've said this before, but they really were one of my first armies in AOS. And so hopping in the way back machine, when their first battle tome dropped, before they were folded into Orc War Clans, there was just a Bone Splitters battle tome. And in there was some terribly written rules. I mean, most of them were actually super fun and flavorful. I think they can go back on some of them, having a little bit more fun with the magic users and stuff. I could talk about that later. But the one problem with it was a thing called the Kunnenruck, which back in my day was a battalion that you could take during matched play. And I'm just joking. I'm going to stop the old man thing. But anyway, so it's a battalion that let your arrow boys double tap, basically. And with the way that you could stack how many shots they got, it became ludicrous, and you can roll upwards of 200 dice easy. And just by sheer weight of numbers, these guys became the dominant shooting army for a hot second. That is until Stormcast got their Vanguard Chamber, of course, and then that's been the same story ever since. But it was actually so unfun that people just literally didn't want to play against me. Like, I would show up at the store and they'd be like, nah, I'm not here for that. I'm like, well, I'm not taking the Kunnenruck. I actually didn't have the stuff for a Kunnenruck until late in my owning of the army. I always wanted to run the melee one, which let, I think it was, back then, the ability was like letting another unit out of sequence attack, which I thought was way cool. I thought that was it. But anyway, regardless, I was having a great time with them, and the second people were like, no, I literally refuse to engage with you on this, I was like, oh, well then this army doesn't serve its purpose, and I got rid of it. And I had told Jack that that was one of my great regrets, was getting rid of the Bone Splitters. Then later on I started painting some. I don't think I was really sure what I wanted to do, but I just enjoyed painting them again, and that by then contrast paints had come out, and so I painted like two boxes of them, because I had 2 boxes and a few heroes, and then bills got tight. I just needed to clear out some stuff, and so I sold them to Jack. And then when he was done, he offered them back to me. I don't think he had an interest in them. I mean, they're really not impressive on paper. But yeah, that's how I got here with my bone splitters. So I'm doing them a little bit more justice this time, more in line with my my OG bone splitters army, which I think is still somewhere in the greater Seattle area. I think it's somewhere in that orbit. So yeah. Okay, so the rest of the question. That's what brought me down the bone splitters route. Staying with pure bone splitters. Yes, I am. Specifically, Spezia, I'm here because there is an event in May called Vault Wars in Springfield, Missouri. And I'm gonna be at it. And one of the awards that you could possibly earn is called the Underdog, which is basically doing really well with a faction that is pretty much garbage in the competitive sense. And so as I was getting these bone splitters back, I was like, I could do that. That's my kind of award. And so, yeah, I just starting now the whole thing with bone splitters. Now I can't ally things in, but there are some restrictions on, like you can't take Kragnos, something like that. It's got to keep with the spirit of the award, you know. But anyway, Warren Lynch, hey Doug, how often do you try to play a game, and when you do, is it with friends or a club? So I try to play a game almost every single week. Sometimes it's not always AOS, but I always try to get out there and do something. A lot of times it's basically just been oscillating between AOS and Marvel Crisis Protocol with my bud Jeremy. As far as, you know, there's no club here. Not really. And honestly, none of the store owners really in my area have the gumption to, like, nobody wants to stand up and be like, we are the Age of Sigmar people, right? We're going to have a game night. We're going to support it. We're going to promote the hell out of it. But no one really does that with 40K either. And, to be honest, I don't have a good enough rapport with most of the store owners to be able to offer that. So it's just kind of a strange area, kind of, to be a gamer. So all that to say, with my buddy, with one of them we play at his house, and the other we usually meet up at a game store just because he lives a little bit further away, so it saves him a little bit of time if I meet him at a closer game store. But yes, almost. I am probably like one of the working definitions of garage gamer. Both in attitude and expertise level. Okay. Spezia, thank you so much, buddy. I'm working down the list here. If you didn't ask a question, I would love for you to. Spezia, you're more than welcome to. Of course, always. Corey, can't wait to hear about how you do at your event. Doug has gone 3-0, 3 different events. In third, running pure bone splitters. They got fuel in the engine. You know, I think they do, and I think a lot of it has to do with people just not expecting that kind of movement chicanery. How about that? That's what we'll call it. Jack hates when I say shenanigans. We'll call it chicanery. I feel like that's a happy medium. But yeah, so I'm very, very excited to go and hopefully do other war bosses justice. I've joked before, but this truly is the first time going into an event where I'm like, there's a thing that I want to win. Which is a fun, I don't know. It's different for me, you know? Because, you know, I've done like events, like I did some of the narrative stuff at Nova in 2019 and that kind of thing. And, you know, I feel like the difference is, like, there's the difference between going for something for an experience and then trying to achieve and or prove something. I guess is kind of what I'm getting at. The Bone Splitters fit in quite well with the new Cruel Boys sub-faction. Can someone explain that to me? I'm not familiar with it. What's the new Cruel Boys sub-faction that has Bone Splitters? Bone Splitters are the connoisseur's choice. I'm sorry, guys. I'm skipping over just because I'm trying to get caught up with everybody. Viridian Forge, yes, can vouch. Betsy is an awesome person. Any advice he gives, solid. COVID killed off our AS group. Oh yeah, it's hard to get a game up now. Most of them move back to 40k these days. I'm going to have to get into Tabletop Simulator. I'm sorry. I can't stand Tabletop Simulator. At Doug, here we go. What would your Gordrak / Gob speak for Bone Splitters look like? Well, I think for the most part, Gobsprak works because they're going to be riding beasts that the Bone Splitters don't want to eat. Like the only reason they like boars is because they don't want to eat them. So I think the vulture totally works with their aesthetic. At least I feel that way. Because it's just a thing that they can use that they wouldn't want to be a predator of. They have no interest in hunting them. They don't, you know. As far as Gordrak, I don't know. I've been desperately trying to find like a really nice, good a Boar model online. Surprisingly hard to find. Didn't think it was going to be this much of a journey. Initially because I wanted to have an alternate for the Rogue Idol, which is in my list. So I'll have to figure something out, or just get the actual Rogue Idol. It's fine. I feel like some other mini companies do it better, but ideally I would have like a rock boar thing. And that would also totally work with Gordrak riding that, if I can find this thing that I've invented in my head. Cool. Okay. One more with this killer. Let's see. I feel a Bone Splitters one would be difficult because they hunt the biggins. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Shouldn't Doug be on his way to Adepticon? Sadly, I am not going to Adepticon this year. I live just 3 hours away, but I had a conflict to schedule, and it involves my wife, and she always comes first. But I will be there next year. We've already agreed. Pour a drink out for me. That's not true. Well, that makes it sound like I'm in the morning. No, I'm going to have a great time with my wife down in Pennsylvania, of all places. Gonna be hanging out in Gettysburg on the weird chance that any of you are near Gettysburg. Unfortunately, I can't promise to get a game in with you because I can't bring these things with me, but is where I will be. No, don't sell it that way. Your wife is doing something cool. Yes, okay, so I'm being modest. My wife is a romance author. She does like short Insta love stories on mostly on Amazon. Like they're like part of like the Kindle Unlimited program, and it is her first ever, I guess the equivalent of like a convention. There's like a book sale, a romance book convention thing going on, and you know, she was always so supportive of me when it came to this channel stuff, and was a great resource and anchor to have when I went to Nova, which was my first thing. And so I just decided, you know what, I need to be that for her. The two things overlapped. So Chaboy Doug Griggs is going to be hanging out at a romance novel convention. Not the kind of lore I'm usually into, but, you know, create locomotion with the steam you're given. I get it, steam. Sexy books. Let's see. Do you still play? You still playing Warcry? How's the Underworld's warbands feel? So, I haven't played any time recently. However, so my wife right now, after we get done with this trip that we're going to, and we get back and recoup and recover, she has been excited to try and check out Warcry because she really likes the Idenith Deepkin warband, like the Underworld's warband that now has rules for normal stuff. So she's really excited about that. Pardon me, I'm just grabbing. It doesn't look great. This is why I don't like Orc Flesh. It looks closer to Warpstone Glow than it does Orc Flesh. War Boss Green. There we go. Okay, well, he's just gonna be a big greenin'. Let's see. I'm catching up on the chat here. So yes, Max, I'm sorry, to round out that thought. Yes, I'm going to be playing more of it here pretty soon. Soulblight, Stormcast, and Iron Jaws will 100% be cool. How's that Slaves to Darkness list being built? The big difference between First Prince and Mismatched Mortals, yeah. Ooh. Big difference in those ones. Wholesome AF vibes. Okay, let's see. Where can I see your Auric army? After this, I'm going to be posting it on Instagram. I'm going to start doing more content there for my Patreon, where It's a lot more of, man, that doesn't look good at all. Give me one sec. Striking. I just had the green. Where did I put it? Calipaint. Man, y'all, I'm losing my mind. I was literally just holding it. Where did I put it? Striking. Man, I'm losing my mind. You'd have thought I just chucked that thing into the void. Oh man. Soapstone glow. Oh, you know what? Actually, maybe. My box of 10 million greens. Here we go. My goodness. Sorry about that little detour, everybody. I lost my mind for a bit. Okay. Rock Boar sounds sick. Maybe I could sculpt something up. Oh man, that would be incredible. I have no idea how to do any of that. Keep in mind, I do have to get approval for it to be used as a stand-in. So, got to be pretty close to everything else. Okay, wait, Lord Billy. Can we expect some AOS romantic lore videos? No. 2. Are any of our male romantic leads based on a lovable giant with a heart of gold? Yes. Okay. Has your wife read any of the AOS novels? No, she's not big into fantasy. Or has at least never shown an interest in it at all. And you know, it's one of those things. She likes seeing the art every once in a while if I find something really cool. But generally speaking, it's not her jam. But she's a great listener. She'll every once in a while like quiz herself. Like, Nurgle. That is the gross one. Like, yes. Okay. Doctor, is it Bootsy? What paint did you use for your piggies? So right now, all of them are just a contrast color. And then I went back to the skin parts and painted all the skin with rat skin flesh. And then I did my streaking grime wash, which I was taught by Vince Ventrella over a channel of his name's fame. So actually, not a whole lot, to be honest. Very minimal work on the pigs. I'm gonna go back and just, because I know they all have the same basic skin color, like under the fur, I'm just gonna knock out a whole bunch of skin tones on them and call it a win. Joseph, Doug, you on Adepticon? No, I actually just explained this. I'm not going to be able to. I had a prior commitment for my wife, and I'm excited to be joining her in Pennsylvania, of all places. Okay. Cool. So now we'll do pigs. And then we'll do bone. Let's see. Despite my horrid lack of backlog of Hobbyist, making a bigger wall has certainly been tempting as Sons of Behemoth Army. Oh, nice. That's awesome. That water needs changing? No. You gotta wait until it's a thick molasses-like material before you change the water. Even the most basic painter knows that. Come on, man. I'll just play it. Yeah, it probably does, but I'm here now, which is kind of the reason I never change it. It's just like, I'm already here now. Anyone hear about the tabletop game called Kill Sector? No. David Paul, it's my boy. I haven't watched you live in 2 years. Well, buddy, welcome back, man. How you been? Hope the time has spent. Hope time has been good to you. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. Kind of wigged out there. Had a small glitch. Man, this Cadian flesh tone is like really like liquidy compared to the other bottle that I have. Like it's thinner. I don't know. Pre-thinned by Games Workshop. Own a cat. I have my cat, but he's not into touching anything that we do. Like he's like doesn't touch anyone's food. He's like, no. I have my food. You don't touch my food, I won't touch your food. Kind of a deal. He just kind of does that with everything. Never goes after our stuff. He's a good boy. Specia, oh Doug, not sure if I told you, but I'm kit bashing a big project for the wife's Slaves to Darkness Corn Army, making a war shrine, but it's gonna be based on the oh, the turtle! Nice! That's so freaking cool. I love it. I love it. Oh, big shout out for Redeem Forge. Thank you so much for the tip. Doug, what tournament do you want to use the boar for? I'd love to look up the rules and see if I can get it to pass. Oh, this is at Vault Wars in Springfield, Missouri. Please don't inconvenience yourself, like, at all. There are some options online for me. I'm still exploring, but I don't want to inconvenience anybody. I mean, I know it has to be on the right base size, which I think is some kind of oval. But, I mean, it's not like GW is going to be there, right? They're going to be doing their own thing, so... Let's see. Doug's Paint and Water is the secret to his no-cost Agrax Earthshade. Exactly. Although I do every once in a while, I don't know if you guys do this too, I'll watch a bunch of those, like, don't start painting until you learn these great tips. Like, you'll see, like, Miniac do those kinds of more clickbaity titles. And I love watching them because I was like, I do half these things. Right? Like, I just... everything that I shouldn't be doing. Dirty water, we got breaking brushes left and right. But we're having fun. Let's see, Viridian Forge. Oh, and Viridian Forge, I'll say, if you want to ask a question, you threw some in the tip jar to offer me a kindness. So if you'd like anything in return, please, I'm more than happy to answer it for you. Oh, that's great to hear, David. I hope you're enjoying that. I love the one page. Let me ask you, from one page, what are you working on? Yeah, I have a standing agreement with them, like, if and when I can ever get a 3D printer, that I would hit them up for some assistance. You know, they wanted to be a sponsor of the channel, and it's like, oh yeah, this is the super stuff I'm in here for. But I don't really have any way of giving a review at this point. I'm abusive to my brushes. They look in horror. Yes, exactly. I remember watching a Bob Ross a long while back. And he had this line where he was basically just talking about other tools that you can use besides brushes, because oil painting is very unique. It's like a thick gunk medium that you can kind of work with a lot of different kinds of tools, and he was showing some of them off, and said, you know, you can almost paint with anything as long as you practice and you get used to what that tool is like. I was like, well, that's all I do with my brushes, right? This is how I rationalize my bad caretaking of brushes is, well, you know, I've already gotten used to like that. This is the tool that I know how to use is more useful than the one unknown. And then at a certain point I became a meme and it made it sound like I'm a painting anti-intellectual person. Anti-intellectual, there we go. I'm not going to learn lessons because I refuse to. And it's like, that's the American spirit. Okay. Lord Billy Doug, what do you think will be revealed at Adepticon? Well, let's see. Big ones. I think the big one, if I'm honest, is going to be whatever that expansion is for Necromunda. I don't know why that was so hard. Because, you know, if it's the scope of what kind of has been we've been led to believe as far as like vehicle rules and how everything works out in the Ash Waste and like whole campaigns, I imagine that will take up a lot of their media time is those kinds of things. I'd still love to see, again, I'll say it, the only thing I want for AOS, give me a Path to Glory campaign supplement. As far as 40K, I don't have any clue. Man, it's way too early to ask them to come out with a new edition, but there's already so much bloat. If you're interested, Champions of Destruction is out for Soulbound. I am interested. Thank you for sharing that. I saw that earlier today, and I'm going to go pick it up, digitally anyway. I have every intention of running a Soulbound campaign here on the channel. I went even got my cool little Dungeon Master screen thing, just all the reference information for me. That's kind of the big thing I'm worried about, is just not getting lost in the reference stuff. But yeah. Let's see. Oh, I'll skip ahead here just for a hot second. Reading forward from my question, I guess I'm curious what resources you use, if any, in Path to Glory for your Stormcast versus Soulblight to make the Soulblight work more like a 3.0 tome with its Path to Glory rules. Well, you know, in my specific case, it's funny because I feel like the Soulblight with their White Dwarf supplement feel more like an interesting Path to Glory army than the Stormcast. Meaning, I think the Stormcast do and have always suffered from being like the first tome out in an edition. So they have this amazing moment in the sky where it's like, yes, this is so crazy what all these Path to Glory things are. But now that we see other books and how they do stuff like Soulblight example, not having undead things or summonable things on their roster, that's a massive change for that entire style of gameplay. So in a weird way, Soulblight feels more like an advanced, you know, they were experimenting with cool new rules and designing stuff more wildly. And the Stormcast book feels very tame. So I think most of the Stormcast stuff, honestly, compared to the others, it's a bit boring. You know, like really their only special power is that they can have a hero choose to not die, which is like really cool. But man, there's so many stories where dying is the cooler option. Let's be honest. You know, where like having a heroic death and maybe a new leader has to lead. Like those are some great story elements. Being able to just turn those off isn't a wildly unique thing. In fact, it kind of inhibits some stories. But I don't really know what the answer is, to be honest. So yeah, I guess that's, I mean, I don't have any other way to say it. That's kind of where we are with our thing. Like, I never found it hard You know, we're not trying to balance anything. We just basically play a couple of games, see how we do. And then since then, my buddy Jeremy, who I was playing probably the most with, got the Marvel Crisis Protocol bug, so he's been playing quite a bit of that. Go against the grain, paint minis with gardening shovels and wet spaghetti. Hey, me and the Rerolling One guys did that one video where we used toothbrushes. That was a super fun challenge. I took the W in that. Didn't even have to sweep anyone's leg to get the win, man. Okay. So I did miss some, just to jump to Viridian Forge's question. As a random, our local group has grown nicely. Recently we have a Stormcast player, Khorne and Slaves to Darkness, War Clan, Soulblight, Ossiarch Bone Reapers, Cities, mostly humans. Wow, Lumineth, Gits and Sons of Behemoth Fire. What a great spread. A little light on death, but then again, death is light on death factions. That's like for them. That's rad, dude. Beastmen at the moment doing... Oh, their Beastmen models are fantastic. Absolutely. Yeah, right on. Let's see. Doug running an RPG. Getting me crying. I would absolutely love to. I have no idea how. And half the reason why I haven't yet is because it's just one of those things like... Yeah, it is... probably imposter syndrome. But just this feeling of like... If it doesn't go perfectly, people will feel let down. Like, you know, I had gotten excited for this moment to hang out with this person that I like online, Doug. And then it just... His story sucked. He stammered a lot. He says way more than I thought he used to. That kind of thing. Just be... overall a disappointing experience. Which I know is me. That's me projecting my own ness. Corey, are you planning on going to Nova this year? I am going to 100% level with you. I have not even thought that far ahead. That one's in August. I feel like there was something in July that I was like, I'm gonna go to that instead. So I don't think I could do both. Does anyone know what Midwest Meltdown is? Maybe that's it. Ooh, there's 3 more. They're looking great though. Tuck, I'm just proud of you. Aw, thank you, buddy. Super appreciate it. Take it easy, David. Have a good, wonderful day. Also, pro tip, capitalize each word of your hashtag so accessibility readers read it correctly. Interesting. So with that, so you're talking for me when it comes to the hashtags at the bottom of this video? I'm just trying to think. I don't know where else I have hashtags and stuff. Yo, if you come to Midwest Meltdown, I can meet you. Yeah, isn't that it? Isn't that one in July or whatever? Am I losing my mind? My marbles? Yeah, I liked it too. Okay, right on. Thank you. Appreciate that. Just really building up the pink of the skin here. Hey Robert, what's up? I lost my masking putty and painting over metal is rough. Yeah, I never liked it. never liked it at all. Well, if you don't end up making Nova, get ready to throw down on the pitch because I will violently force you to play Bud Bowl with me. Yeah, dude. Oh, I forgot that they did start that league recently. I gotta go ask them if it's too late to join. Or see if I can just being a ringer or something like that on game nights. I got so distracted, and then I kind of had a painting lull. Just wasn't feeling it. And then, who would have known it took a horde army bone splitters to get back into painting? Sometimes you just have to break and then be rebuilt like a phoenix. Gorgrunta Bell, hey. Hope everyone's having a great day. You as well. Yeah, it's in Kansas, not far from me. That would be super cool. Yeah, dude. I'd love it. I would love it. What kind of events do they have at Midwest Meltdown? Like, are there any doubles events? Sweet, and one more. Oh god, we're so close. Pigs. And for the list I want to run, I have to paint 10 more. Which is only a little bit soul crushing, because these guys go together pretty well. Dungeon Bowl looks super fun. Yeah, actually, Corey, I wanted to ask you, because you're my resident Blood Bowl enthusiast. You just bring it up a lot more to the folks, that's all. But I was gonna ask, have you tried Dungeon Bowl? Because I don't know enough. I know it's like a throwback to a thing that they did forever ago. but I don't understand what it is. Someone said it's college football. I'm like, that doesn't... College football is still football. It doesn't help me. Let's see. 2K, 1K doubles, underworlds. Well, Spetsy, if you want to be a double with a bone splitter's army, I got you, boo. Not going to put you on the spot. Either way, shoot me an email with an answer. My email's in the page tab. But yeah, I'd be super up to that. Ooh, but if I do the doubles, I won't get the sweet ITC points that I need for recognition reasons. Bummer. Let's see. Boars are coming along well, and now we just got to do mostly just bone, which includes their teeth, and after that they'll look pretty dang good. Where are we at time-wise? 3:16? Yeah, I can do it. I've not tried the new Dungeon Bowl yet, but it's basically just modified Blood Bowl on a really silly board. Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. I didn't... Like, people were talking about it as if everyone... Oh, yeah, they brought back Dungeon Bowl. You're like... That doesn't mean anything. Whatever emotion you think that's supposed to evoke within me is not happening. Good point, Corey. Yeah, it's already niche. Yeah. Good morning. Your Crimson Keep video was fantastic. Wishing you a productive and enjoyable hobby session. Thank you so much, buddy. I mean the world to me. Quiet Woods. I like it. Yes, my buddy Rob locally, who's coming with me to Vault Wars in May, he is running the Castelli stuff. And so, I don't know. I got really jazzed about our game, and then afterwards I was like, I could do this thing. Get my buddy excited. At this point is when things kind of slow way down as Doug just picks out 1,000 little bone bits. That's okay, we can still hang out and chat. As far as I know, it's just Blood Bowl in a dungeon where you have to find the ball. Okay, cool. Which, yeah, sounds like a very fun, like, I don't know, narrative event. I don't know if I would play it as a default game, like a normal one. But you know what? If nothing else, I'm glad they're shooting their shot when it comes to specialist games. Hopefully they don't lose the enthusiasm for it. Imagine oops all boars and oops all bows stormcast together. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, because like there's not a lot of wiggle room for a lot of the chicanery that my list can do at 1,000 points. I mean, in general, the bone splitters are pretty cheap, but like I wouldn't be able to take my normal block of 4 savage bosses, which I'm convinced is the best unit slash non-unit in the game, is just 4 of those guys walking around together. Are you going to use the Bone Splitters for Path to Glory once you've won them with Vault Wars? Yeah, I'd like to get started on their Path to Glory stuff before then as well, just because it kind of keeps me motivated, but yeah. So yes, I will. To what extent, I have not decided. Sweet. For me, let's see, what is the plan with the Bone Splitters? I don't have a lot of plans, to be honest with you. They're more just a project that I just wanted to do. If nothing else, I'd love to be someone who just, you know, takes one of the crummiest armies in the game and just shows people you can have fun with it. You can just have fun. Don't need to worry about win ratios and stuff like that. So we'll see. What would be ideal? Ideally, I would paint these guys up, fall in love with the faction again so hard that I never ever trade them. And basically just stick with them until I die. Oh, with the exception of some Tzeentch stuff that I'm doing for Holy Wars. No, Holy Havoc. Whatever the doubles one is. I'm going with Jack next year. We already decided on that. And that army will be fair game after that event. Currently building some carriage run, and I have a complaint. GW can make a single boot on a model made of 5 pieces, but still need to use these accursed flying bases. Yes. I that's what broke me. So if you followed the channel for a while, you know, at one point, like most armies, I had carriage and overlords, and I just had so many problems with that stupid flight stand. At a certain point, I was just like, I'm over this. Other armies don't fight me when I try to build and flip them. Sticking with Path of Glory as its best, what faction are you currently running? As I saw your lore vid, Slaves to Darkness, which look great, and your Stormcast. Yeah. So, about that. The Slaves to Darkness I ended up selling. And the reason was, after the Nurgle book came out, they fundamentally changed the way that Slaves to Darkness interacts with other factions. And so I just kind of lost interest after that. It just kind of knocked the wind out of my sails, and I have no problem with their decision. I think it makes absolute sense and probably should have happened a while ago. But it was a bit of a bummer. And so I decided, well, I'll move on, something that makes me happy. And so I got these guys. Now, as far as the Stormcast one, I just don't think their Path of Glory section is terribly interesting. And so I just haven't felt compelled to play it. So one of those, it was just the army changed around me, and the other one was like, you know, like I was talking about earlier in the stream, I was talking about new Battle Tome syndrome, where it kind of seems like the newer ones, they have their moment in the sun where they're really stinking good, but everything in the GW ecosphere balances out eventually, and eventually I was just looking at other Battle Tomes, so with that being like, man, some of these are way the heck more fun looking. Because like I don't think the Auric Warclans one is also particularly interesting. Like, very few places that you can actually do their unique thing, which is to raid places for resources rather than claiming territories, but it only works on your D66 ones. I don't know. There's just a lot of minutia that's like, this kind of missed the point. Doug, you bring the bacon? I'll bring the Lord Ordinator, 5 Judicators, 5 Judicators, Judicators crossbows, and 2 ballista. Oh god. If I wasn't already so invested in the lore and my plans on these guys, we'd be on eBay. I respect it. My Stormcaster headed that way. I don't know about eBay. I might try Troll Trader or something like that. Let's see. Thanks for the pretty chill stream. Pretty much brand new to the hobby and taking a break from painting Cruel Boys. to do the Dark Oath Savagers for Warcry. Nice! That's so awesome. And yes, I often take painting breaks as well. Like sometimes I just get burnt out on not just the same model, but fantasy miniatures, like the color palette it uses, all this kind of thing. Give me a second, let me finish this guy's teeth and I'll show you my most recent Warhammer palette cleanser. Okay. Here, let's see. So this was given to me by my brother-in-law for Christmas. He knows kind of what I do. Like he doesn't follow like Warhammer specifically, but he understands the idea of games using miniatures and that kind of thing. And so he just super randomly got me this guy for Christmas, and I was like so excited. And yeah, it's one of those like not Reaper. What's another one? Like the one that Hasbro puts out for D&D, that kind of thing. They had a Cthulhu model, so he grabbed that for me. So I was like, yes, I love him. He sits right on my desk next to me. Bye bye, Cthulhu. Okay. But anyway, that was to say, yes, painting breaks and stuff are very valuable and important. And if it feels like a chore, something ain't right. Let's change it. I'll ask this to the group. If Games Workshop were to put out a Path to Glory book, like let's assume that they are like the small books that Games Workshop does for 40K. What would you have in it? For me, I'm going to say must-haves for me. I'd love, obviously, if it had a location. Like, these are the rules for fighting in wherever the heck. I would want them to have... Oh man, these guys are a lot of work. The banner holder guys are so much bone on them. Punt that to the last. Yeah, what would you want in it? For me, yeah, it comes down to a location and a struggle being described very well. Give me a new setting, tie it into the seasons of games. Yeah, General's Handbook. I want unique territories and fun optional rules. It's true. Narrative scenarios. That's a huge one. Man, we have played those 6 in the core book to death. You can only get so excited about stopping the ritual for the 14th time. Um, yeah, I would love to have. I would also love to see if missions that were a little bit more thought out when it came to attacker defender. Like one thing that was really big in AOS 1, okay, like before GHP and all that kind of stuff. Well, I guess it was after the GHP. This idea that like you choose your general, they would be the person who could use command abilities, and hey, if you were playing this particular mission and you were the attacker, you got this extra ability. Now there are some of those things that exist in Warhammer still, but I feel like they largely fell out of favor with the designers, and I think that is fantastic for storytelling. I think they often make the mistake of making it too good or too bad. But just having other options, yeah. Or incentivizing it to play out the way that you expect it to. So if it's like you want to see the defenders all huddled in tight and close, you give them a command ability that's like, you don't have to move, but you get XYZ kind of a thing. I don't know, it occurred to me today as I was pondering content for the future. It's been dang near forever since we have been in the realm of metal. And I want to go back. It's one of the first locations, probably one of the most unique amongst... maybe not most unique, but I think certainly interesting compared to like Realm of Akshi and stuff. Because the thing is with Akshi and... where's the other one they went to? Giran, that's what it was. With those two, like they still seem to like function kind of the same way, but in Shaman, like things are just like weird, floating around in the sky. Alchemy and alchemical stuff is happening like naturally as occurring forces. It just seems like a really out there place. And I think to maybe rope in some 40k players, they kind of tone down the weird abstractness of the realms a little bit, which, you know, I'm cool with a little bit. But I still think they set up some truly fantastic locales in the first... in the Rumgate Wars when this all started. So I'd love to see some of those things kind of get built upon. Just realized that I wasn't looking for little anklet charms. Some of these guys have ankle charms. Why? Nobody knows. Okay. Some new scenarios, but I'm hoping going forward, all new books and White Dwarf updates are like the Fire Slayers. I feel their path to glory is head and shoulders above the rest. I could not agree with you more. I feel like they do. Right now, they are edition winners, in my opinion. I had an interesting thought. The other day I shared on Twitter, which I'm only on sometimes, that my favorite, I listed as a guilty pleasure fact, my favorite product line in terms of models ever is the Pharaoh, the pig folk from War Machine and Hordes. And I don't know why, that just apparently hit a chord. People on Twitter were like, what? Like, yeah, it's the best, man. War Machine and Hordes was the game that introduced me to the world of miniature games. Let's see. Specia. Hey Doug, do you remember Skate's Wild Hunt? Where would you place them? Do you want them to get at least a semi-range? Um, yes, I want them to get a full range just because I think that they touch into a very interesting fantasy aesthetic as far as more like Fae type creatures rather than like yes or no elves, right? They can have their own little thing. The more we learn about Teclis and Alaria and all of them, the less I'm like, I don't like that any of you guys took the driver's seat on these people's souls. I don't like any of y'all. So having elven style factions that are their own thing, I think would be really nice, is my point. Okay. Just got the Boar. From what I'm seeing, the 3rd edition tomes are very much, hey, so GW listened and gave me what I wanted. Yeah, let me ask you this. What was it in Stormcast that you wanted that you got? Dragons? I would generally agree with that. I feel like, with the exception of Nurgle, the books that we've seen haven't dramatically shifted playstyles. And by that I mean, in my opinion, Nurgle feels more like Nurgle now than he did before with all his speedy movements. I didn't quite care for that from a perspective of like rules representing lore. But it was a good book. You know, I mean, it was a great book, and the current one is also real good. So it was its own beast in that regard. But I don't think besides that, really, I mean, a lot of fundamental gameplay changes? Not really. Jack's been rocking Stormcast Eternal shooting since like day one. And what I'm getting at, sorry, I kind of lost my point there. What I'm getting at is that I like that we have this whole new wave of battle tomes that is essentially, hey, you liked X about this faction? Go do it. Like, okay. That smooth jazz. Oh yeah, there's a lo-fi channel on YouTube that's like, what is it? Public domain? What is that? What the word is? Yeah, just let it play. There's like 1 or 2 songs on here that I have to like stop everything. This is just straight up annoying. You know, like every radio station. Where it's like, yeah, I was here for the Led Zeppelin rock block, get the lead out event at 4 o'clock last night when I was coming home from work, but I'm not here for the Madonna-thon as I go to work the next morning. You know, it just hits a slew of songs where you're like, I don't like this at all. Make it stop. If I had to break it down, my throughout wishes were, yep, Drat Cav battle line. Every army could take Cav battle line, but us. Wanted paladins the same lore-wise, and one of my heroes to be playable. Nice. Here painting a gate breaker during the stream. Really appreciate what you do. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay. I just got the boar tusks and his shield, and then I'll have to call it for a night. But I am going to be posting pics. I'll post a general picture on Instagram, but I have my detailed ones over on Patreon if you all wanted to join. And follow me along there. It helps to support the stream and stuff. Let's see. Oh, this is perfect. This is one of the songs that I hate. She kind of at one point does like a, I'm going to describe as a bargain bin Alicia Keys, and is like, oh, which note is this song supposed to be in? All of them? Oh, I'll just reach up right there and hit them, and then just kind of just goes ballistic for a bit. I'm going to leave it playing just to prove my point. Somehow I got... let's see. These are looking dope. Let's see. Arcane Tome solves that. Super happy. Oh yeah, right on. I don't know why, but Fire Slayers seem a lot less intimidating to start now. I can agree with that. I think between their price hike in terms of points and stuff like that, I think is representative of a lot of stuff of like, yeah, there's fewer units, but it also feels like you're getting much more per point than you did before, which the reason that matters for being approachable is that, you know, it requires less stuff. That's always helpful. And I'm just going to cheat a little bit and not water this down, because all I'm doing is putting a small little dink right there where his eye is, like a metal eye patch. Oh yeah, plus the Battle for Fury Bow. Yep. Man, that's still on a shelf nearby, and I think about grabbing it all the time. But I would like to make some headway with all of this before I jump into my next thing. So my rule I always make for myself is after doing a lot of army swapping and stuff, is I have to make sure that I always have a playable army. Technically right now it's a Stormcast, but yeah. I still so wish Fire Slayers had a Teenage Magmadroth Cav and Lava Golems. Yep, that's exactly what I would put in there for as well. Those two things. It's just... it's free money, GW. What do you think? Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll punt it just for this a hot second. We'll just dot some I's real quick. And we'll go back and do any repairs we need to do for them later. Man, some of these guys are squinting so hard. And you're like, really, GW? You couldn't even get them to open their eyes all the way? It's okay. Someone used saying, no, I've never heard of that, Hans. I'm not part of the, Warhammer Painter Illuminati on YouTube. The group of 6 channels that just kind of always ends up with new painting products every week. Ingest. Oh man, these guys are looking sweet. My biggest thing is I have always been terrible at following companies online. Like, I don't know what it is. I've never been one of those folks to like subscribe to a newsletter and actually open them. I tend to just delete stuff. Mainly because when I sign up for it, I'm very excited, and then when it comes time to actually read it, I'm like, I just don't have time or capacity for this. And we'll get the eyes on the boars. Hey Doug, hope you're having well on this rainy day. Yeah, it's rainy here too for me. And I love rainy days. It's okay. We're gonna kind of be a little more messy on the pig's eyes because I'm gonna go back with a highlight color and just get the eyelids and stuff like that real quick. Now I was considering, or debating I should say rather than considering, having the eyes of the boar just be white as if they are like rolled back in their head because they are also crazy. Or if I should actually put pupils on them. Obviously real pigs have pupils on their eyes, but I think there's something creepy about the other way. All right, my cat has reached scream capacity. Take care, dude. Have yourself a wonderful day. I just realized I could not. Oh, that's a rad idea, Spezia. Yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff. Okay, friends, at this point I do have to call it. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me for the last, bit? I don't know how long we've been going. Hour 40. Super appreciate it. So yeah, at this point, all I need to do is go back and touch up around the eyes, which I knew I was going to have to do anyway. And then I can start painting tattoos and knock these guys out. So I'm pretty excited about that. When these are done, I'll need to do, for the list I'm building, 10 more Boar Boys, 1 Rogue Idol, and 3 Savage Bosses. So I can walk you through that list next time I am on the air, but that's basically how it goes. So thank you all so much. I will catch you next time, and happy wargaming.